I am Johnny Boy, the Consumer Monkey McDonald. This is Business Live Global. Let's get ready to rumble! So here I am again, interviewing another business owner or mover or shaker in the world. I want to hear from you, so if you're in business and listening to this, reach out to me and we'll do an interview with you. Today we've got another amazing guest, and you won't believe what song they've chosen. That's really amazing too. So let's enjoy it. What do you do if you need an information security and HR director? I give you Hollie Whittles. Hello, Hollie. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
All the better for speaking to you. So thanks for joining us on Business Live Global. And I met you at an event a few weeks ago, for Women in STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and maths. So it strikes me that there are not enough women in these kind of careers. What do you think can be done to help encourage girls into STEM?
So that's a really good question. I think we need to get in there into the schools. We need to start trying to challenge those bias and stereotypes that still exist, and really look at when people are talking about job descriptions and careers, showing them that girls can do all these amazing things in engineering and at technology. And we can only do that through helping the schools bring these subjects to life. So as a business owner, I have to take some responsibility of that. So I'm very keen to go in and show that I'm a girl, a woman, and I'm running a technology business, and this is the career that I've had, and talk them through the different types of positions that I've had, and talk to them about the skills as well. Because quite often when they're at school, they're learning about stuff, but the world outside is changing so fast, especially in digital as well. So they'll probably, the jobs that they will be doing in the future don't even exist yet, because technology is changing so quickly. So for me, it's about the skills and the attitude and getting that right. And we have to bring that to life in the classroom.
So passion's important. Given that teachers are having such a difficult time with resources, with time, with their mental health, where can we make this intervention? How can we make this intervention?
So there's a couple of different ways that we can do that. We can do it through the work experience route. So we can actually take the students off site, and, that can be from, year 9 upwards. We can also do things like T-levels and apprenticeships after they've finished their studies, and get them into the world of work quicker. One of the routes that I'm really keen on is the enterprise advisor route, which is something that the careers and enterprise company very much push. And this is where they, as a business owner or anyone working in business, you can volunteer to become an enterprise advisor. You volunteer some of your time to go in and work with a school directly on curriculum, career strategy, and talking to the students. They will do the DBS check and make sure that you're all kosher and all good to go. And I think that's a fantastic way, because the enterprise advisor route is then helping the schools to achieve their Gatsby benchmarks, which often are looking at. Gatsby benchmarks, yeah, there's loads of buzzwords, isn't there, in education at the moment?
I've never heard that one.
Yeah, so there are 8 benchmarks, and one of them, I'm not going to go through them all now, but the only one that's relevant really for us, for businesses, is 4. And benchmark 4 is about how do schools embed careers into the curriculum. So if you're teaching maths, how are you bringing that subject to life and saying, well, with maths, you could be learning coding, you could have a career in machine learning and artificial intelligence. How does it all flow through? So that's very much through the enterprise advisor route. So I think that's a fantastic way of getting involved. And then the final one that I recommend is the STEM ambassador route. So there's a national organisation called the STEM ambassadors. Anyone can apply to join. And again, that's where it's providing a network framework where schools and colleges can apply, saying, I'd like to run a STEM activity. Do you have anyone that you could send? And if you've applied to become a STEM ambassador and you've been approved and you've had your DBS check done, then they will say, yes, there's Hollie in this region. She can come into your school and help you with that activity. So there's a couple of different ways there that businesses can help get involved. And for me, it's about getting those pathways from education into business.
So I had some experience working in primary schools, and at the primary age, girls are incredibly creative and inventive. But then that seems to change as they cross into secondary school. Is that true in your experience?
It can be. I have, and I know we were talking about my TEDx talk earlier. I have a thing about this. It's one of my passions. I feel like creativity has been driven out of our students because they're not allowed to be free thinking. They're being tailored down a specific route to pass a certain subjects and set of exams, and they haven't got that free thinking. And actually, as a business, that's what we want. We want problem solvers, we want entrepreneurs, we want people that can think outside the box. So we need to encourage that. And one of the ways that I do that is by talking about things like the arts.
Right.
Students that do music, improves their IQ, makes them better at the STEM subjects. So it's a particular passion of mine of when I'm going into schools to say to them, I'm not just looking at your grades, I'm looking at you, the person. If you play an instrument, if you're in a sports team, these are things that are so valuable and things that I look at as an employer. So I very much try and encourage them to embrace that creative side.
Excellent. I'm going to put the link to your TEDx talk in the show notes because it was fantastic. So you've talked a little bit about what you do. What can businesses generally do to create pathways into STEM? For anybody, but women especially.
Yeah, for women especially, it's leading by example. We could set corporate objectives about how we want the balance of the workforce to look like. I particularly go down doing keynotes at conferences. I try to get involved in business groups. I work very closely with the Federation of Small Businesses, championing things like skills and apprenticeships and encouraging girls into STEM activities. So for me, it's getting involved in the bigger picture, because we can't just sort of grumble saying, oh, there aren't enough girls in tech, and then not do anything about it. I think the one observation I would make is that activity is very fragmented. There's lots of really good initiatives happening across the whole of the UK, but it's really hard to get that bigger picture. So, I was at a government meeting the other week where we were talking about this specifically, and I'm like, how do we bring all of this good stuff together so we can actually start really tackling the problem, making a difference?
So there was a story I read on the BBC website that was talking about the fact that 40% boards have 40% women on their boards, and then you read the story and you find out that only 2% are executives. The rest are just there for show, basically. So we've got a long way to come.
Yes.
I am going to potentially suggest something that is very wrong, but I'm not sure if it's wrong, so I'm going to ask you. It looks to me that not always, but enough to notice that women who have managed to drag themselves through this horrible male-dominated, because we know what the culture's like when it's a male-heavy society, they get to the top or near the top, and they pull the ladder up behind them because they think, I'm different. Is that something which you observe at all?
I have seen that happen in more so in big business, because there's more people. And I very much are about, women have got to empower other women, and it's not about getting one person forward and your own personal thing. It's about everyone. I have seen that happen, and we do need to change that thinking and look at that really bigger picture.
Okay, too. So what can women leaders do to support STEM careers in your view?
So, as I said, keynoting and talks, leading by example, having key performance indicators, objectives in your business to change things, be the change that we want to see. Get out there, get involved. I was talking to a local college about things like apprenticeship curriculum. I'm like, well, who's deciding this? And they're like, oh, well, it's all the trailblazer groups. I'm like, well, who's on those groups, and how can I get on them? So, I'm just quite feisty like that. I'm like, let's get in there. So any opportunity like that where we can use our voice to do better. So that's what I try and do.
Well, as you say that, I'm going to add you to a group called Struggling Female Women Struggling to Make Their Businesses Successful. It's a sort of group discussion that I'll set up. But what would you say to either a parent or to a young lady who's interested in STEM as our closing statement?
I would say go for it. It's a fantastic career to be into in any of the STEM sectors, particularly digital. I think it's a really exciting place to be at the moment. There are excellent career prospects, really interesting digital skills that you can work on. And digital is now touching every sector. So I would just say it's a fantastic place to be.
Fantastic answer. So you've chosen for the music Hans Zimmer from Gladiator, which we're going to play out now. I'll put the show notes, Hollie's website and YouTube talk in the show notes. Hollie Whittles, thank you very much.
Thank you.